Hey guys, and thank you for watching. If you're new, what's up? Welcome. I'm Kelly. This is KBellaBeauty, and today we have kind of a different video for you. These are products that I used to love, and since I used to love them, that does mean that they are no longer loves of mine. Some of these products have even made it into favorites videos, or I don't think any of them made it into Holy Grail videos, but I know that some of these have made it into favorites videos. And so these are products that at one point in time I loved, and I just no longer love them anymore. Most of these products I no longer have to show you because I've either regifted them, not regifted. I've either just given them to someone. I did not gift them like as a birthday gift. I just like gifted them to someone who wanted them, or I threw them away because it would have been unsanitary to share them. So if you want to see the products that I used to love, that I've broken up with and no longer love, please keep on watching. I guess I'll just start with foundations. I have a couple foundations that I used to love and no longer love anymore, and unfortunately they're both from L'Oreal, and they were both super popular foundations. The first one I do have to show you, it is the L'Oreal Infallible Pro Glow Foundation. Mine is in the shade 203 Nude Beige, and the reason why I did not like this foundation and the next foundation that I will list is for the same reason. For some reason, when I put these foundations onto my face, they look fine when I'm inside, when I'm in front of my vanity, but once I get out into the world and I look at myself, I look really orange, and I just find that really frustrating. I mean, I guess I could try to like go down a shade and see if that helps, but these foundations just really oxidize on my skin and make me look orange, and that's not really the look that I'm going for. So unfortunately, I still have this in my collection because I do like the luminosity that it gives my face. I just have to mix this in with another foundation of sorts to kind of give me the nice glow, but not so much the orange. The second L'Oreal foundation that I broke up with and moved on from is actually the L'Oreal True Match Lumi Cushion Foundation. And I have a whole first impression video on that, so I'll link it down below if you're interested. But the funny thing about that was, upon first impression, I loved it. I wore it for a while, but again, I found that once I would get out into natural daylight and some time would pass, it would look really orange on my skin. It also, like, you could see my pores. Like, I don't know, the cushion foundation would sink into my pores by the end of the day, and you could just really see the texture on my skin. And I did not gift that one away. I threw it away because I felt like it would be unsanitary to share a foundation, but I do no longer have that foundation. The next product is a concealer, and it is by Maybelline, and this is the Maybelline Fit Me Concealer in the shade Light. Now, the funny thing about this is this was actually a repurchase. This is my second tube of this concealer, and I don't know if you guys can tell, but I mean, I'm like down to here on this concealer. I've used a good portion of it, and I don't know, I'm trying to get myself just to use it up and then pitch it, but this was one of my first concealers that I ever used. I also used, I don't know what they're called, the Age Rewind, I think, with the little cushion on the top. I used to use those, and then I would use the Maybelline Fit Me. I did not use any high-end concealers when I first started actually using concealer, so I did end up repurchasing this because I thought that I loved it, but after trying the Urban Decay Naked Skin Concealer as well as the Tarte Shape Tape Concealer, I just find that I prefer the brightness and the coverage that those concealers give. This I would just use to cover up blemishes. I wouldn't really use it under my eyes anymore. The next product is a product that I no longer have in my collection, and it is the Laura Mercier Secret Brightening Powder. I used the Secret Brightening Powder before I started using her translucent powder, and I actually really liked it. I mean, I used it all up completely. The only thing that I found was when I would go out into the light, the reason why it was actually brightening was because it looked like there were little flecks of glitter underneath my eyes. Anywhere that I would put the Secret Brightening Powder, it looked like I was a vampire in the movie Twilight, and like my skin was glistening, and I just didn't really like the glitter look. Like, I'm just not really about glitter on my face. So I did use it and I loved it while I was using it, but once I finished it, I decided to go to the translucent powder, and I like that one a lot better. Speaking of Laura Mercier, I also do not have this product anymore, but I did purchase the Laura Mercier Artist 2 palette when it was limited edition. I think now it's permanent. I mean, I've seen it in Sephora's and you can order it online, but when that palette first came out, it was limited edition, and I'll insert a picture. It's the palette with all of the purples, and I really wanted, what is it called, African Violet or something, that like golden purple shade. I really wanted that shade from Laura Mercier. So I got the palette and I loved it. I used it every day nonstop for like months. I hit pan on that Nectar shade. I had a big old dent in that African Violet shade. Like, I loved that palette and I could not put it down. But once my makeup collection started growing, I found that I never really reached for that palette anymore, because you would go to that palette either to create a very neutral look or a purple look, and like those were your two options. Like, you were going with the brown or you were going with the purple. And I don't know, just as I got more comfortable with makeup and as my makeup collection started growing, I just didn't reach for that palette, and it sat in the back of a makeup drawer, and I try not to hold on to things that I can give away that I don't like anymore. And it's funny because I actually just posted a blush collection video, and my friend Mariella from, I think it's Makeup with Mariella or Makeup by Mariella, I can list it down below, but hey girl, if you're watching, she watched my blush collection video and she actually commented on there and said, oh my gosh, like, I look like a makeup hoarder when I look at my collection compared to yours. But the thing is, I mean, I've had so many more blushes than what I've shown, and I've had so many more palettes than what I have now, but I try to really keep my makeup collection with products that I'm actually using. My goal is not to have this huge collection like Nicole Guerrero or Jaclyn Hill or Desi Perkins, like all of these people who, when you catch a glimpse of their closet, it's like full of makeup. Like, yeah, I think that would be so amazing to have, but honestly, how do you use all those products? You don't. You can't. Like, you can't use all of those products. And I feel really bad when I purchase something and it just sits in my drawer. Like, I feel like it was a waste of money. And I mean, I don't get my money back because I don't sell those products. But if I don't like something and I've only used it a couple times, I return it. Otherwise, like that Laura Mercier Artist palette, I gave it to my niece because my niece is an actual makeup artist. And I figured that would be a palette that she could use for herself or use for clients, and so I just gave it away to her, which I actually give my two nieces a lot of makeup that I don't use any longer. But yeah, that was a palette that I loved for a while, but I just kind of stopped using it. I actually have 3 more palettes that I loved for a time and I've stopped using, and 2 of them are the Lorac Pro palettes. For a while, these palettes were all anyone was talking about. And honestly, they are really good palettes. Do not get me wrong here. Like, these palettes are great palettes for people who maybe don't have such a large collection like myself, because these palettes have an entire row of mattes and an entire row of shimmers, and you have a good variety. Like, if you're into warm tones like golds and, you know, like deeper browns, then the Lorac Pro one is a great palette for you. It travels well, it has a lot of shades to choose from, and you can create a lot of looks. I actually liked the Pro 2 better. It does have some more cooler tones in there with like some taupes and purples and grays, but then you also do have your warmer shades and your tans, your neutrals, and these were both go-to for me. I mean, you can see I hit pan there, I have a dent there, I hit pan over here. These are, several of them have big old dents in them. Like, I used these for a while and they're great palettes, but really the only time that I reach for them now is when I'm traveling, because they travel really well. But when I'm sitting at home doing my makeup, these rarely make it out of its drawer. And so I feel kind of bad about it. I've considered getting rid of them, but I do still enjoy them. I don't love them like I used to. And my third palette is from Morphe Brushes, and this was the collaboration with Jaclyn Hill, not her newest collaboration. This was the Jaclyn Hill Favorites palette. So although you can no longer get this palette, all of these shades are Morphe shades and can be purchased individually on their site. Jaclyn just chose her favorite Morphe shades and put them into a palette form. And this palette is beautiful. And when I first purchased it, I honestly did not use any other shadows for like 2 or 3 months. And then when I finally did put it away, it was because I forced myself to put it away. Like I was like, you have to stop using it. You have to use some of your other palettes. But I love it because it's so versatile. We have pinks and purples. You have some cranberries, you have a green, you have your oranges, and then all of your like neutral browns. I honestly don't think, okay, there's only one shadow that I've never used before, and that's this one right here. This bright orange is the only shadow when I'm looking at it that I haven't used. But I loved this palette. I loved this palette. The shades are beautiful. They blended nicely. You can create a ton of looks. I think it was only like $28. The only problem was, once I put it back in my closet to use something else, I never pulled it out again. I didn't. I honestly can't even tell you the last time I used this palette. I still like it. It's still nice. I should pull it out and use it more, but I think it's maybe been a year since I even touched any of these shades, and that's sad, but I mean, I can't bring myself to get rid of it yet because I feel like, you know, I'm one of those people like, oh my gosh, I could use it again one day. So, I mean, I did really like the shades and I liked the palette, but I just don't use it like I used to. The next product on my list is a lipstick that I no longer have, and it is a lipstick by YSL. So I spent some money to get that lipstick, and it is the YSL number 1 shade. I don't know the exact like name of the lipstick, but it's the YSL lipstick in number 1, and I'll insert a picture of it. I'll look it up on Sephora and put it right over here. But it's almost like a baby doll pink shade. Now let me tell you, that number 1 shade was raved about on YouTube when Smags and I both picked one up, and she loved hers so much that like she literally like only had a little bit left, and she had to like hide it so that she wouldn't use it all. So when I purchased it, I used it for a little bit and I loved it. It was super creamy. Oh my goodness, I've never had a lipstick so creamy before. It was super creamy and I loved it, but it was the shade that I wasn't a huge fan of. Like, it was a super light baby doll pink, and so I just found myself not really reaching for it. So I ended up giving it to Smags. I thought it could be her backup and, you know, she can use it for me. But yeah, I mean, the lipstick itself was wonderful. I just wasn't really down with the shade. My last product is actually a product that is being discontinued in the United States, and it is the NYC liquid liner. Now, if you are like an avid YouTube watcher, you know that this liquid liner is like raved about on YouTube. Crispy uses it all the time. I think maybe even Desi Perkins used it. I don't know, I can't remember who else talked about this NYC liquid liner, but there were a couple people who have been saying that they're like so devastated that it's being discontinued, but now they're going to the NYX liner and they said that it's very comparable. When I first started trying to do liquid liner, I wanted to purchase a liner that was cheap, and like NYC was like $2 or $3, and I'm like, okay, so if I can get the hang of this wing thing, then I'll stick with it, and if I can't, then it was just a couple bucks, no big deal. When I started trying to do liquid liner, I guess I found a way to use it. My hand was used to the wand. The thing that I don't like now is that the wand is so far away from like the handle that like I feel like my hand is really far away from my eye. But when I first started using this product, that was what I used for liquid liner, and I could do it really well. I could get like a nice flick of the wing and I could color it in. It was super black, it lasted all day, and I loved it. But then I transitioned into pens, and I started using, first I think it was like the Jordana felt tip liner, and I liked that because it gave me more precision because I could hold my hand closer to my eye. And then I got a sample of the Kat Von D tattoo liner, which is my favorite for sure. And once I started using Kat Von D, I just couldn't use anything other than a pen. And I had used all of my NYC liquid liner and I repurchased it, and after having used felt tip pens for a while, trying to go back to the NYC liquid liner, it was a hot mess and I had like no control over it. And one of my first videos was like a top 10 under 10 product video, and my NYC liquid liner was in that video as a product that I loved and that I thought was worth it for under $10, but I just can't anymore. Like, I have no precision with it, and yeah, I'm totally a pen girl now for liquid liner. Those are all of the products that I have to share with you guys today. I'm really interested to hear what some of your like unfavorites are, like products that you used to love, but you've broken up with them because you just don't feel the same about them anymore. So let's list some of those down below. I'd be interested to hear if some of your old favorites that you fell out of love with were some products that I mentioned, or if they're different, maybe some of the products that you used to love and no longer do are products that I'm currently loving right now. So I think it would just be really interesting to see. Again, if you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you're new, I hope you'll subscribe before you go, and I will see you guys in my next video. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.